Going
So
live.
I like that. We're
Dude,
going
that's one.
live. We're going to do it live. You know,
Do it live. We
change
don't
of
care.
scenery. We're going live. Hopefully, we're live on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to give it a minute here for everything to load up. Having some issues with the internet, we think. Um, we're efforting. We're trying to figure this out. So I'm reloading Facebook right now to see if it pops up, to see if we are actually live, so we can have you guys tune in and we can have a conversation. I
Yeah.
decided to do a little change of scenery today. I went from one side of the room to the other side of the room. You know, venture out. You got to.
I'm just
All
practicing
right,
draw
let's
strokes
see.
over
Yep,
here.
well, that's good.
All right.
No
Enough
wasted movement.
enough playing around. Any more draw strokes? You guys caught
All
me
right,
with my pants up.
and everybody can critique your draw stroke.
The internet just. Hi, there's a lot to critique there. Trust me, it's nothing. There's nothing new there.
Woo.
It's all negatives. You got to clear the garment. That's the thing. If you can clear that garment and come up with it, you're fine. But no, I was just messing around with the DeSantis variable 87 holster and a little laser light pistol. It was it's actually pretty comfortable.
All right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out the systems here. All right. So it looks like we are live on Facebook, thanks to Chad Winkler and Rob Lomax, Tony Kimball. You guys are tuning in. Larry Chin. Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
I want to know, Chad, how my draw stroke was.
You sure you want to know that?
Yeah, I do. I want to know because that I'm telling you, Chad Winkler is one of the most trained up guys I know. Man, he every day he's on the range.
That's one of the cool things about doing having an actual instructor give you some lessons. It's like, if you go whatever it is, baseball or golf or whatever, and you think, oh, I'm not straightening my left arm, and they're like, yeah, you are. I'm watching you do it. And there's
I,
a lot of things with draw strokes and shooting that the instructor will see you doing and going, why are you doing this? Why, there's just weird things, little wasted movement things.
yeah. So
Chad, let's
quite
see,
funny story, for you guys, before we really kick things off. So one of my job in high school, as I was graduating, as I waters, and stuff like that. Well, the guy that I actually like, who trained me to train horses, he'd sit there and cuss at me every day. Straighten your arm, do all this, and this. I'm like, I'm doing that. And he goes, no, you're not. I go, well, how do you know? He goes, because I'm watching you. So it's the exact same thing.
Yep. Yep.
Man,
Absolutely.
he
Chad says, "Do it again. I missed it." All right. Is everything looking good on the side
oh,
of
good.
YouTube right now? We got everybody tuning in. All right. Cool. All
You
right.
know
We're
what?
kind
I
of
don't see that
efforting. I don't
we're
know what the deal is with the internet today, but we're trying to get it all cooperating
it,
here, and we're talking over each other. So I
it says it's
apologize.
Friday.
Yeah. I think the computers and the internet are ready for happy hour.
Winner, winner. Let's get this
Go
show
for
on
it.
the road.
Yeah. Go for it.
All right. So, all right. So, first off, Damon Andrews, I reached out to you on YouTube. If you don't know, if you went on YouTube, you have to either listen to this or go back and look at your comment, because I'll leave you a comment to reach out to me at KJ at Gun Talk to claim your prize. Damon, you still got to do that for that stiletto. Also, this week, Scott Davitt, you win. You are winning the AR-15 tools that you can see here. He actually left a really lengthy comment that says you're he's talking to you, Ryan. He's calling you out. You're absolutely wrong about not being able to shoot someone for stealing private property and saying there's nowhere to really do that. I find it hard to believe you don't know that it's perfectly legal after dark in Texas, did not know this, to use lethal force to defend private property. In fact, it doesn't even have to be your own, and you do not have to be personally threatened with physical harm. I 100% disagree with that because there's nowhere in the country that you can do this shit.
I'm
There's a case where
I'm
someone was watching
I'm
their neighbor's house and shot killed someone who broke in and was stealing. The shooter wasn't even charged. I thought everyone knew this about Texas. Scott, you win. You win the Wheeler Tools. I
let's
hope you
see
reach out to
here.
anybody. These are going to come your way.
Scott. I'm not going to hire Scott to be my lawyer. I'm not an expert on Texas law, and maybe he's right. Maybe you can kill people for stealing a TV as long as it's dark. He said if it's daylight, I don't know how the law applies, but as long as it's after the legal sunset, then you can just kill people for walking off with a spatula. Apparently, so go for it,
Well,
Scott. Let's see how it goes.
well, I think it's I, I think it's important to note like the context of where this message comes from and what he heard or may have not heard because um, we were talking about a specific instance where a caller called in and said, "Well, if someone steals your TV and you're outside and you run after them, um, that's aggravated assault. Just walk away, let the TV go."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know Texas law. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert on Texas law, but that sounds a little strange to me. Sounds like one of those things that you
Right.
hear, like maybe you're at the range or the bar, and somebody says, this is the way it is," and you go, "Okay, that's interesting. I'm not necessarily going to live my life according to what we talk about over beers, but all right." So KJ's holding up
Right.
something fun. Why don't you tell them this is what's up for grabs today, right?
Hey, this is what's up for grabs today. There's a lot of people out there carrying the P365 right now. And Sig Sauer was smart enough because they are also an air gun company that they made a P365 BB gun, which I can ship through the mail directly at your house so you can practice during this quarantine. So today we are giving away a Sig Sauer P365, and this is compliments of Airgun Depot and Ryan. You have to pay those bills right now because we are brought to you by some fantastic folks.
Yes, thank you. Brought to you by today's Gun Talk Live is brought to you by Colt, still making history. You've seen what they're doing lately. That Python is very popular. Also, Ruger's new PC Charger pistol in 9mm is on a lot of people's wish list. We've been shooting it and enjoying it. PC Charger includes a 17-round SR series mag, built-in Picatinny rail with your choice of for your choice of brace, AR grip, and is available state compliant model with 10-round capacity. One of the coolest things though is that the PC Charger comes with an interchangeable mag well that accepts Glock mags. We just put out a video on this and it's really easy to swap out the module, like really easy. I could even do it. Shopruger.com is offering free shipping on all PC Charger pistol accessories with promo code PCC through Sunday. That's shopruger.com. Also, Lockdown. Lockdown, by now you've heard about the Lockdown Puck security system you pair with your smartphone to secure your gun safe, hotel safe, tool chest, whatever. But it has a lot more, Lockdown has a lot more products for your safe and, organizers, racks, dehumidifiers, vault lights. And we gave some away on the show before. Under the desk holster, huh? Customizable wall shelf with hidden compartments. Those are kind of neat. For securing your firearms and other valuables, check out lockdown.com. Speaking of Ruger and Lockdown, KJ, this Sunday,
That-
Tom on Gun
This
Talk
is
Radio is
big
going to
news.
have, we're going to have a bunch of different reps from Ruger, personalities, pro shooters. And since that got canceled, we're going to be live streaming the entire radio show like this from Ruger's virtual booth. You can watch it on Gun Talk's YouTube channel and Facebook page, as well as Ruger's YouTube and Facebook. Comment and That's this Sunday live from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. So 1 p to 4 p Central, and so on and so forth. But that's a bunch of stuff going on right now.
The comments that are coming in are actually cracking me up. Ryan Weiss, this is actually really interesting because he thinks he knows the case that we were talking about at the top of the hour, or at the top of
Okay.
the show. He says the guy in Texas was charged, but acquitted. If I remember correctly, he was on the phone with 911 when it happened. So, yeah, you're probably going to get charged, and I guarantee you that was not free. Not free.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, you know, even like we said, and when we were talking about this yesterday, even if you do things right and it ends up being dropped, acquitted, whatever, you still had to, he was charged. You still had to go through some sort of legal proceedings, whether that's a trial or whatever. There's going to be costs involved and an enormous amount of headache. And that was in Texas, which is generally a little bit more friendly to law abiding gun carrying citizens. That's not the case in every state. Um, so we probably ought to that kind of dovetails very nicely and transitions into what we were going to talk about second on the show today about criminals being emboldened. Um,
Hmm.
just locally here, we have had several gun store break-ins. And KJ, I'm going to let you tell the audience about this because you know a few more details. This is pretty wild stuff.
It actually was really wild. It started all in right around in the Slidell area, just 40 miles down the road. And you know where we live, it's a few minutes north of New Orleans. Well, the gun store got broken into, and they did the exact same thing on each of these. So they drove a car into the front door, ran in, got the gear, and came out. And so they're only taking handguns right now. Well, our local gun shop where we take our firearms to was hit. I heard about it the morning after, and it was scary stuff because what happened was they drove a Mercedes that they had stolen, um, and this is two different crews working. So someone steals the vehicle, another crew hits the gun shop. But what was crazy about this was two people cased the joint a couple of days before. So it's a whole like ring of folks trying to hit these places. Smash, grab guns. They didn't go after your $2,000 Benellis. They didn't go after ARs. Nothing like that. So we had to make some changes on the show because our gun shop, kind of shut down for a while for repairs and everything else. And we got guns coming in and we got to film with. So what happens was we sent them over to another gun shop on the North Shore. Last night it got hit by the same crew.
Yep.
But this time they took handguns and all the class 3 firearms. So this is a ring and we kind of thought that this was well, maybe, criminals are kind of getting braver and they're heading out. They've got to make money. They've got to get guns. So what's going on? Well, Tom reached out to NSSF and found out that actually crimes against gun stores have actually decreased by 20%.
Yeah, and let me just jump in here. And what we're seeing also is we're hearing from police chiefs around the country over the last several weeks talking about they're not basically they're not going to enforce certain crimes, and which is pretty crazy when you start announcing and putting out press conference and press releases to say, hey, just heads up, everybody, we're not going to be worrying about these crimes, and they list a bunch of different stuff. Salt Lake City
Look
police,
at
due to the
this.
coronavirus, the beer bug. We're not going to be enforcing certain things, and you, in fact, are on your own. We're seeing this from a bunch of different things around the country. So I think our audience kind of always knew that when seconds count, the police are minutes away. Well, maybe when seconds count now, the police are an hour away, or maybe they're kind of too busy because they've have. I mean, certain departments you got like Detroit. Look, these crimes include narcotics, personal retail theft, burglary, vandalism. Um, you have some police that are actually the departments have lost several officers due to the virus. People who are sick for a couple weeks, and now they've lost 10%, 20% of the force. So, what is your response if you're watching this? What's your response to all this? What are your thoughts? And what do you get? What are you seeing over there, KJ, on YouTube?
I mean, right now they haven't really chimed in on this one, but I had our man Steven says I have no idea why the police would announce that to the criminals. They should have kept that on the down low. I completely agree with you because you look at this, and if I'm a criminal and I'm keeping up with
Yeah,
the current times, I'm like, wait, burglary? I'm not going to get charged. Really? Not, you guys aren't investigating burglary crimes? Perfect. I'm headed into town real quick. I got to go bag me a couple of donuts. But you look at this, and for us as civilians, we have to be a little bit more cognitive, because what happens when the gun stores are tired of getting hit and they really get some good structures up that they can't get into them. Well, the residents are going to come next. At least that's my thought.
yeah, that's an interesting thought. Um, we're also seeing just some strange times, right? One of the things we put out there is Bobby says, "Wow, that puts a whole different perspective on shooting someone over stealing private property." Oh, we're going back to that thing. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it
just sit,
ties in
Mike says,
very
just sit
nicely
and
to him.
wait. Yeah. Um, it's just something to be aware of, I guess. We're seeing a few things locally. You also heard about them releasing criminals from jails, which is also a kind of a weird deal. We're going to release people from jails because of this virus. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
It's a
it,
good
it's
time
it's a
to be
confusing
prepared.
time. It is, and this is honestly where a lot of training comes into play. The more trained up you are, like folks like Stephen Mayberry, Chad Winkler, those guys, man, they've got to be feeling pretty good right now because honestly, to be able to know and understand how to defend yourself, man, right now is the moment to be that.
Yeah. So, switching gears here, we put out a poll on our YouTube channel asking people because where we are, we're in the South, seasons are changing. We're not that we have a big, cold winter, but we're getting into warmer weather. And we put out a poll asking if you change how you carry and what you carry from winter to summer. So, extreme changes in weather. What are your thoughts on that? I'd love to, if you're watching this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, yep, I change, because the thinking is either somebody's going to argue, I'm never going to change the way I carry because it'll mess me up, or I'm never going to change what I carry because I want to be used to that gun. That's cool. And some people were going to argue, well, in the summer, I dress differently. Maybe I'm wearing shorts. Maybe I'm not wearing a jacket, so I don't have a big cover garment. So I have to carry something smaller to kind of accommodate carrying every day. So I'd love to hear what our viewers think of, do you swap out your carry? Personally, I kind of like to have a few different methods
Hey, real
of
quick.
of carry. So it just gives you some flexibility.
All right, Ryan, real quick. I need a paycheck. So will you go ahead and make that deposit for me? And also, once you finish that, I've got some really good comments coming up on here about the carry options.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got that stuff in. We like to thank Colt Ruger and Lockdown for making this thing possible. Guys, we got to pay the bills. We can't do this type of production without our sponsors. So, we appreciate your support and we appreciate you supporting them. So, what do you got, KJ?
All right. Luke Capria says, I only have the one pistol, so no change for him. Uh, says, but I would like to carry a 9mm winter. That's an interesting subject right there. Does your caliber change due to seasons? Because thicker coats need more penetration. That's actually interesting. And then,
Yeah,
JP says, not really, just from inside.
yeah, I've heard that argument, and I mean, I guess way up north, yeah, people are wearing big jackets and lots of layers of clothing. I've
Yeah.
heard the argument of changing calibers. I've heard the argument of changing the actual bullet that you carry in the cartridge you carry, the load, um, based on that. They've tried to address that because they've said sometimes certain hollow points can get clogged with clothing and not open up and perform like a hollow point's supposed to if they have to go through
Oh,
several layers of clothing. Now that is part of the FBI ballistics test is several layers of denim in front of ballistic gel to see if it's still open. So, um, if they're passing the FBI test, it should be part of that. Now there are bullets that try to address that with like the little rubber tips that will keep it from getting clogged, but it
mhm.
goes out of the way when you shoot into some medium, still opens up. So, um, yeah,
Right.
Chad on over on Facebook says yes, I changed from an open front carry garment to an untucked shirt, same gun and holster though. So changing the clothing, the cover garments he uses, but same gun, same holster.
Well, let's find out what some of the professionals do. And this comes from Tiger McKee. He says, how you carry dictates the way you dress, or the way you dress determines how you carry. For scalding in the winter and summer and 15 degrees. While I try to be consistent with what I carry and where it's positioned, sometimes the weather or social norms have a say. The thing to remember is that being prepared is always a compromise. I like to tote my 357 Magnum K frame Model 66. Sometimes I have to wear something in an ankle holster. I may be restricted to a pocket pistol, always in a holster. Regardless of what, where you carry, don't forget to practice. And I think that's important here. That's like key here. So don't be afraid to experiment. Second, if the situation calls for it, you need to be able to present or draw the weapon efficiently and safely. I mean, that's from Tiger McKee. We've got another one from Chris Sereno, but I wanted to touch on a few things that Tiger actually said there, and that he makes really good points on. And if you go Tiger McKee, he's a legend. So if you ever have a chance to read his books or take a class from him, please do it. You'll learn so much.
Yeah,
But he
yeah, we
he
actually
he's
yeah, we sell his books on shopguntalk.com. Well, and one in particular, the Book of Two Guns, which is one of the
yes,
cooler books on gunfighting you will ever see that you will ever read. It's actually basically his personal notebook from studying the art of gunfighting and taking classes over decades and decades. And he has his
yeah,
own hand-drawn illustrations, which are actually really good. So it's a really interesting book. It's called The Book of Two Guns, and he's basically talking about pistol and rifle. Specifically, I think the AR-15 in 1911, but it really works for any pistol that you're going to use. And if you're interested, you can find it on his website. You can find it on ours on shopguntalk.com. One thing he says in there is no matter what you carry, you have to be able to draw it efficiently and safely. And I think that's a good point when you talk about changing the way you
yeah.
carry, changing the gun you carry. You got to practice with it to know what you're doing and be comfortable with it. Don't you think, KJ?
I do think so. I mean, if you don't practice the way you carry it, and take for instance, like right now, with the quarantine, everything that's going on right now, you're at home, so you probably are carrying, but are you practicing? Are you going through those routines? Now is a great time to experiment. Do it with safety. Double, triple, quadruple check that gun. Make sure it's unloaded, and test out. Your winter clothes, your summer clothes. See what works best for you. But then go get training. Go in addition to that. Go get a class from Tiger McKee. Get a class from Chris Sereno. Someone like that. Because honestly, if you don't keep this practice up, it's a perishable skill.
Yeah, yeah, for
But
sure. So
we
I know
do
you had
we
a
do
couple
have
other
some comments.
guys that chimed in for us.
Yeah, we got some comments here. Actually, man, David N says same gun, same caliber, same setup, all seasons. Nothing changes. And there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for repetition with one platform, and I'm sure David is not, only versed in one firearm. I mean, I'm sure he knows multiple, but there's something with consistency. You know where it is, you know the feel, you know the weight. But we've got another one from Chris Sereno that I thought was really good and really well thought out. But he goes on to say, with the innovation of high capacity subcompact pistols, I don't change guns much anymore. The SIG P365, nice, has revolutionized concealed carry and capacity. I will occasionally carry OWB Kydex holsters because I wear heavier clothes, obviously, and always have a gun belt on. He didn't say gun belt, but that's what he meant. My go-to carry is up front inside the waistband. I carry a Hog Kydex because it's very thin. I like the new Ulti clips. Man, this reads like a NASCAR statement because I can clip my holster inside any pair of pants, including shorts that don't have belt loops. For me, it's about what I'm doing that dictates how I carry. Heck, there are even days when I'll stick a little flat Ruger LCP 30 in my pocket. After all, concealed carry should be just that, concealed. Great points. Great points.
Yeah. So he does actually kind of, he says, I don't change guns much anymore. Then he says, but when I do, I change guns. So, I mean, I agree. That's what I was starting to say earlier is there's nothing wrong with saying I carry the same gun the same way year round. That's cool. That simplifies things. Simple is a good thing a lot of
Mhm.
times when it comes to these kinds of discussions. But I think sometimes it's good to have flexibility depending on what you're wearing and those types of things. But just being comfortable with it. Bobby says I carry a 10 millimeter strong side all the time. Bobby is ready for everything.
Do not mess with that man. Don't mess with him.
No
But it's
kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
my God. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't like to get shot with anything, but a 10 millimeter, my gosh, you're bringing the heat.
He's mad.
Yeah, you got to have some serious hate. World class Satanist. Not sure, but hey, you're empowered to your Smith and Wesson, so that's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, anything else we got to cover here, KJ? We're at the end.
Benjamin,
Everybody's it's Friday
oh,
afternoon. They want to go have a drink and
hold
all
on,
this stuff.
hold on a second. Benjamin might have the best comeback to any comment that I've seen in a while. The world class Satanist. He says, "Are you sure it's not a Smith and Wesson 666?" Well done. Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
I think
Benjamin.
anytime if you're
Hey,
wanting some entertainment, you just go into the comment section of these videos and just hang out for a little while. You'll find some entertainment for sure.
man, that was that was a good one. Oh my gosh, that one's class. You and David, if you're still watching this, man, reach out to me at KJ and Gun Talk, and I'll send you something. That was good. Thank you for making my Friday. Thank you, guys.
Some good discussions on Facebook. So if you're interested, go over there. Lots of ideas. A lot of, wow, this guy, I think he carries like, a different gun every month. He's got Derringer, suspender holster carry, ankle holster, 357 Magnum, shoulder holster,
Hey,
outside the waistband, leather holster. I think he likes holsters. He's a holster collector.
can I, he's a holster guy. Can I ask? Can I ask him something? Who is that?
Yeah. This is Carl.
Who
Carl
is
Day.
Carl? How many tourniquets do you carry on you? Because with that amount of firepower, you're going to be rendering some aid.
No kidding.
Hey,
All
talk
right.
about next
So,
week, but right.
yeah.
You know what we have to talk about?
What are we going to talk about?
Okay, and I saw something over this. So, if you are in a self-defense shoot and you have the ability, training, do you render aid to the individual that you just shot?
You're just going to drop that grenade and walk out of the room, right?
See ya.
Thanks for watching Gun Talk Live. Good luck with that. So this is
Yeah.
for next week.
Hey, we'll
this
talk
is
to
going
you
to
guys next
be,
week.
we're thinking this is a topic to cover. So think about that a little bit. Legally, morally, a lot of stuff going on there. Do you help out the person you just had to shoot? With some sort of
Yeah.
rendering medical aid. So guys, be sure, we say it all the time, but be sure to go to guntalk.com, sign up for the newsletter. Good stuff in there. We're still finding deals, some nice deals on guns, ammo, all that stuff. And comment if you want to win that SIG P365 BB gun. Feels like the real thing, and get a little trigger time, and it's fun.
Oh, and this. I'm gonna.
Ooh. Steel targets. All right. Blinker targets. Nice. All right. So, that's Gun Talk Live. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back with more next week. You guys stay safe out there. Hopefully get a little trigger time this weekend. That's it.
Thanks for watching Gun Talk Live. For more great gun content, subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. You can always watch the Gun Talk channels on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon. And of course, you can always find us at guntalk.com. Thanks for watching.